Hey yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Tenyo Scene 1 and today we're gonna learn how to aim. So we're gonna set up some aiming which has been, I don't know, like on hold for so long. And yeah. Yeah, it's always good to start our videos with Gandalf observing or us. I don't know what I'm doing, but you get the idea. So without any further ado, let's get started, shall we? Okay, so I'm gonna open up Unity now, and unfortunately the Gandalf guy is now quiet and stuff. So, anyways, before we actually get right into the aiming, I've noticed that, the gun was not exactly, straight, like, oh my god, no. So it wasn't, like, exactly straight, it was a bit, rotated slightly upwards. It still is slightly rotated upwards, I think, but I don't know. And, if you kind of look it up from the top, it wasn't exactly, like, straight, it was kind of, I think, slightly rotated towards the right or something, So that was my fault at animating, so it wasn't proper. It wasn't, the proper, wasn't to the proper calculations and stuff like that. So I just fixed that right now, and to basically fix it, what you can do is you can click on the AK-47. So like I click on it, it selects this. I click on this again, it selects the AK-47. So basically, you can just see it's inside FPS AK-47 game engine. Lower arm right, hand right, bone, and then inside of it's AK-47. And basically, you need to copy the rotation, X, Y, and Z values. That's what I edited, and the position as well. And basically, I will pretty much put it up like on the screen somewhere. So like, yeah, the position and the rotation values, so you can just see that and just copy those, the position and rotation X, Y, and Z values. Okay. So, anyways, let's get back to our animation. Sorry, our what can I say? Aiming. So before, actually, let's just get back to it. Okay, never mind. Yeah. So let's open up our script. So weapon script, edit script, and let me just do that. Okay. All right. So inside of our weapon script, what we want to do is we want to actually create a couple new variables to define certain positions. So we need a new position for aiming. So whenever we aim, our weapon moves to that specific position, and then when we're not aiming, it moves back to its original position. So what we can do is we can say we can create new variables for the two new variables for that. One is going to be a private vector3, and we're going to call this original position. And then the other is going to be a public vector3, which we're going to call aim position. And yeah. And so what we're going to do is on the start function, and let me just do that. I kind of hate functions starting like this. Just a personal preference, so I really have to do that, but yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to say original position equals transformed at local position. Now remember, we're dealing with local position here. This is not the position in world space. This position is relative to its what you can say, its parent. Okay, so it's not like it's not based on the world space. It's based on local space. So that's why we're going to say transformed at local position. So this is our original position. Then moving on, we need to create a new function which we're going to call private void aim down sights, and this function will handle all the aiming down sights functionality. So right click to aim, and then not aim, all that kind of stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically go in our update function, and we're going to just play this function. So aim down sights just at the very bottom, so we know that the function execution, in case we have multiple functions to execute in the update, we can just execute that there. We probably should move this to a separate function as well, to make things clean, but we'll do that later. As you can see, the code is really getting messy and kind of difficult to read, so you should probably start moving things around and maybe making smaller functions for different statements, such as this. So maybe we can call it can fire or can shoot instead of just writing this whole statement and all. But yeah, let's for the time being not go there. So for the aiming down sights, what we're going to say, okay, if we're pressing the fire 2, which is basically the right mouse button, then we're gonna play a really similar function, we're gonna do this really similar thing like this. So we're gonna director3.lerp, so like in which we did in the weapons way. So we're gonna move from our original position, so transform.local position equals, so we're gonna basically lerp, move smoothly from one vector to another. So we're gonna move from our original position, which is local position, not that original position variable, but our current position. So this is our current position, you know, at any specific frame and stuff like that. And we're gonna move towards the aim position based on time.delta time, so smoothly moving, and we can multiply that to speed it up. And let's create a new variable before we actually multiply that by anything. And let's call this one, let's call it like float AOD speed, so aim down sights speed. Okay, we can probably call it a different thing, but yeah, that's fine. And let's give it a default value of 8. Smooth back. And we can just say AOD speed. Sorry, AOD speed. Okay, cool. And then what we can say is else, if you're not aiming, or if you're not pressing this button, then we can just say, okay, transform.local position equals vector3.lerp, and we can move from our current position towards the original position based on the aiming speed, which is our AOD aim down sight speed. Okay, so this time we're moving back to our original position. And yeah, I think I'm gonna go and eat right now, so I'll be right back, guys. Anyways, see you in a moment.
2 hours later.
Alrighty, I'm back, and you might be wondering how long it took me to eat, but yeah, I just let's not talk about that. Okay, let's continue. Anyway, so if you have the basic code down for aiming and everything, and what we can do is we can actually add an additional thingy here. So we can say that if you press the right mouse button, so right to is right mouse button, and we want to make sure that we are not reloading. So we're not in the reload animation or state, and we're actually holding down the right mouse button, and that way we can aim. Otherwise, we can just return back to our original position. Now, the proper part actually kind of comes here, and that is to like set up, like to check how we're aiming. To make sure that we're aiming properly, we're actually matching up the sights. Now, this is not going to be perfect, but yeah, I mean, you probably need a proper animation and proper pose and hands and everything, or rather which are properly placed, because this is not right. I mean, yeah, this does not looks right, but yeah, you feel me, right? You feel me, right? Yeah, probably should scale it up by a lot, because this looks small, really small. I don't know, maybe it's just this part which looks small, or it's the entire weapon. I'm not sure, but anyways, let's see, let's set it up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna right click our camera right here, and we're gonna say 3D object and cube, and this will just create a huge massive cube in the center of, just like centered in our camera. And we can just scale it down all the way. Now, and take note that I did actually follow this from another tutorial, another video. I don't remember the guy's name, I'm sorry, but yeah, I don't want to take any credits of him, but yeah. Scale it down. Let's scale it as long as we can, so it's like basically a thin line or something. Maybe make it a bit thicker, not that thin, but yeah. And then what we can do is we can go ahead, select our weapon, and then we can try to kind of center it so that the sights or this part is basically lined up with this line. Okay, so yeah, so that so we want to make sure that let's say, yeah, so we also want to make a few changes here. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second, but let's first center it. Actually, first, let me show you that if, for example, I say I actually move this weapon a little bit like this, okay, and I copy this position, its position over to the aim position, because the aim position is going to be what this object's position is going to be whenever we aim, or whenever we hold the right mouse button. So if I copy this over to this, all of these values. So Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Okay, and I basically kind of actually 1 second, yeah, okay, and I reset this 0.0. Now you don't have to do that, I'm just doing this to demonstrate what's going to happen. So you'll see that if I try playing the game now and I hold the right mouse button, the weapon kind of doesn't matches the position. So this is like 0.169, or the weapon only goes to 0.133 or something. That's because the weapon sway is actually interrupting it. If I disable it, it goes to that position. So for this to actually work, what we want to do is we want to go ahead, right click on our weapon here and say create empty. So this will create another game object inside of our weapon, and we want to move it outside of it, inside of the weapon holder. So yeah, and we can name it, for example, AK-47 holder, and we can parent our weapon to this. So like, we want to first unparent it, make sure it's in the weapon holder, and then we want to move our weapon inside of the AK holder and continue. And now, as you can see, it's inside of here and we have a 0,0 transformation position. And what we want to do is we want to move the weapon sway. So I'm going to say right click, copy component. We want to move this to our weapon holder. So it doesn't directly changes the position of our weapon, but it changes the position of the weapon holder instead. Okay, and we can remove it from here. And what we can do, and now we can finally actually check the position, so we can finally start working around with the position and actually place our weapon to that specific aim point or whatever. Find the specific position for that. And what we're going to do, we're going to move from our pivot to our center. So the center is like basically calculated based on the mesh distribution. So as you can see, all the polygons, the way they are distributed, it's basically kind of calculated. It's not perfect, but yeah. And just to kind of make it easier, so we don't have to look down every time we move and all. So now I'm going to try to line this up with this little thin white ray, and let's move it up and sort of make sure that it's almost, if not perfect, it's almost, it's almost fine. It's almost lines up with it, And maybe actually, instead of lining this up, we can line that part up. So maybe move it down a little bit, and maybe move it a bit to the oh, my bad. Okay, move it a bit to the, come on, it's like this. Just a little bit. Okay, I think that is about fine. Let's make it 0.81. I think. I don't know. That looks about fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. And what we can do is we can copy these values over to the aim position. My bad. Here, and then this is 0. That's it. And we can remove all these, make them 0, so it's back to our original position now. And finally, we can actually go ahead and test it. So now I'm playing, and I hold the right mouse button, and it's not working. Never mind. I didn't copy it over the X value. My bad. Yeah, I didn't copy that over. Okay. And now, if we play it, it should be working. See that? It's not all that perfect. Now, there's one more issue that you might notice, that the weapon is actually still in the idle animation, which is kind of annoying, honestly. And I'm gonna actually make it 0.081. I think that was the optimal value. You can also move it backwards, So in case you want to move it maybe slightly backwards, so I want to move it like that much backwards or something. So when I aim, it's kind of closer. Now, we're not actually editing the weapon's FOV just yet. Sorry, the camera's FOV just yet, but we will actually do that hopefully later. My god, okay. What we want to do is we want to actually select our weapon, and we want to go to the Animator window. And in this window, we want to actually copy the idle animation, so duplicate that. And maybe name that aim. And then what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're actually playing the aim animation. So we can set its speed to 0, so it's not moving or anything. And we just want to make sure that we're playing the aim animation. Whenever we actually, we can say, yeah, whenever we're aiming and all, okay? Yeah, I have no clue what to do from here. Let me see. Maybe we can move back to the aim. Maybe we can set a... a trigger or a boolean or something to say that we're aiming and all. Based on that, we can move on. Yeah, so maybe we could. Okay. Oh, by the way, I have this parameter. Just ignore this. I was just testing around with triggers. Probably we should move on to triggers, but yeah. So let's create a new boolean and call this aim. My bad. Aim. Yeah. Excuse me. And let's say that we want to make sure that reload goes back to the idle if aim is false, if we're not aiming, and then same for this one. Okay, otherwise it goes to the aim animation. Same for that, so it goes kind of like that. Otherwise, if the aim is true, it goes there. Okay. And yes, I think it does. It is. And let's copy the exit times as well, just in case. Let's copy this guy's exit time, or rather, exit time, and exit duration as well, perhaps, just to make sure that we are doing things fine and all. This one's about fine, yeah. Okay, and then what we can do is we can say, okay, if we are aiming, then maybe just set the aim to true. So we can also transition to, or think about it actually. We can maybe transition to this guy if we're aiming. So if we're aiming, we transition to the aim animation. Otherwise, if you're not aiming, we transition back. And we don't need an exit time for transitioning between back and forth, okay? So we want to do it instantly. We don't want to wait. We don't want this animation to complete and then move here, no. And then what we can do is we can just simply, you know, maybe update it based on that. So maybe we can store this individually at a later point, however. And maybe we can create a new variable here. Call this private bool is aiming. And then we can say, okay, if we're doing that, is aiming is true. Otherwise, is aiming equals false. And then we can finally go to the fixed update and we can say, okay, sorry, animator anim.setBool, and we can finally change the aim to is aiming. God, this tutorial is going terrible, isn't it, guys? Whew, okay. All right, let's see. And if hopefully it should do the trick. So we're playing the animation right now. As soon as I hold right click, as you can see, the weapon is pretty much centered in the middle, and it's not moving at all. If I hold release it, it's moving again, and it's working pretty much with the fire and the aim as well. And also, maybe if you don't want to do all this complex stuff, you can actually, you know, I just thought about it right now. You can actually delete these transitions and just let the idle do its thing as well. So if I hold it, as you can see, it goes there. Okay, that doesn't work. Never mind. That definitely doesn't work. I thought you could do. Okay, yeah. Never mind. Actually, you can remove these conditions, and then it would work. My bad. And then if I aim and I shoot, bang. See, that works. And it no longer aims as soon as we try to reload. You see it? See that? So I'm like aiming, and then I press the R button, it goes back to its position, and I can't aim no matter how hard I try them. All right, that is about it, guys. And yeah, we basically have our aiming, and we will perhaps do a more like camera zooming when we aim, so like we can smoothly increase the FOV, so make it kind of like this or something, you know, whenever we zoom in, or maybe this in case you're working for snipers or something. We want to do that. Also, make sure you actually do delete the cube, and make sure you click on your FPS controller and just click on apply, so it saves all the changes back to our FPS controller where we saved it. Okay. And we can save the scene, and bang, everything is good, hopefully. And I think yeah, that's fine as well. So also you can change the AOD speed, how fast you want to aim to get into the aiming animation, and maybe we can make it more dynamic, you know, maybe add some more weapon bullet spraying, and then, you know, bullet randomizing effect, and more of damage variations instead of just always you know, sending a 20 damage. We can have a min and max damage, and between that range it can like harm objects or something like that. Anyways, that is about it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. God, I don't know how I'm gonna add memes in this one. Please, the future me, do let me know if the memes are spicy in this one. I hope they're spicy. And as usual, it's long as ever, so yeah, I can't help that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Also, oh my god, I forgot to mention this, but do join my Discord server. The link is in the description and probably on the screen. If not, if I forgot that, then just I don't know, okay? But yeah, it's pretty cool. You can drop down your memes there. It's finally up, and it's not exactly complete. It's just building itself up. I don't know. But yeah, you can just go there and throw your memes. Maybe discuss some coding and game development stuff, and maybe share your free assets or get free assets from the free assets channel, and maybe talk with me, personally, just voice chat or something if you guys want to do that as well. So yeah, everything's cool. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, that is pretty much it. Hope you guys learned something as well. This was a really weird laid back tutorial. I'm sure half of it was probably okay, but the other half was like I don't know. But yeah, really basic coding. We really need to clean up our code. We probably should do that real soon because it's becoming a mess and it's becoming really unreadable, and you really can't tell what's going on and when it's doing what. So yeah, maybe make it as readable so you don't even have to put comments. Like commenting is a good practice, but like make it readable so the functions are readable themselves. You kind of feel what I mean, right? Anyways. And yeah, that is about it, guys. And I really should get to the graphics part because, we're just stuck in this part since forever. I should make it look more good and better. But I just want to like keep it slow for the beginners to follow, as well as there's a lot of loads of my audience, or lots of people watching are actually beginners from what I've seen, and yeah, so I want to explain everything as simply as I possibly can as I move on. I know this tutorial wasn't much of an explanation. It was really basic. We just pretty much reused whatever we had in the past tutorials. So we just, say we were holding the right mouse button or not in the reload animation. We covered this in the earlier tutorials, the old tutorials, previous tutorials, and we just pretty much moved it from its current position to the aim position, back to the original position. And if this is true, we say, okay, we're aiming, otherwise we're not aiming, and we're finally applying this result, the result of this, we're finally applying it to the animator, to this variable in the animator, basically. And then here, we're making use of it afterwards. Anyways. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I will see you in the next one, just see you in the next one, guys. It was fun. I'm gonna just sing along with this guy.